This is a film about textile decoration or embellishment, and we're starting with just images of calico and a plain green shirting and denim. And I'm going to show you some different ways that you can make these fabrics more exciting using different techniques. So first of all, with denim, you can just cut it up to create interesting surfaces because the warp and the weft in denim are different colours. So with the warp generally being the indigo and the weft being white, if you think about how you might cut up or slash the surface of the fabric, you can create some interesting patterns. So all those four samples that you've just seen, these four samples, they have all been done exactly the same way. They've just been given a different treatment. Some have been frayed quite heavily and some haven't been allowed to fray very much at all. And they've all created a different fabric, which is quite fun. You can just use your sewing machine to stitch lines and make pattern, like very regular pinstripe or a check. You could do a check using zigzag, like this one. You can go back to your pinstripe idea, make them very narrow, close together, and stop and start and not cut the threads off close to the cloth, and that creates a texture. You can cut denim up, and you can use the fact that the wrong side of denim is a different shade of blue to the right side, and you can cut and fray and stitch pieces down to create really quite wonderful materials that can be used for all sorts of applications later on, like bags or jackets or cuffs or collars. Goodness knows what you could do with samples that have been given this kind of treatment. But just by using the fact that the weft is white and the warp is indigo on denim can allow you to really create some interesting fabrics using basic skills. This material too has been created by using the right side and the wrong side of the denim. It's a lightweight denim, and strips have been ripped and then gathered up and then stitched down in circles, which has created a kind of floral effect, which is very effective. You can decorate material by printing, of course. So we've got two samples here. One is block printed with a paisley design, and the block was made from ceiling tiles, polystyrene ceiling tiles, there it is, in a repeat pattern that joins up, which is quite fun to do. So block printing, which doesn't have to be difficult. You can block print using a potato to create a pattern. If you wanted to cut a design into the surface of a potato, it should work with printing inks. And that's a stencil silkscreen printed fabric using three colours, three separate screens used to print that one. Over here we've got a patchworked sample of lots of different techniques used to embellish calico. Calico is a really basic 100% cotton fabric, and again you can see similar techniques used in these samples as in the denim swatches that you saw earlier. We've got some gathered samples here. We've got some drawn thread work included in this sample. We've got beading again and hand stitching, and again frayed bits of cut calico stitched down. A regular beaded stripe there. Just a fabric created with zigzag on the sewing machine, but varying the length from time to time as the stripes were created, and some pin tucks used as well on that sample of calico patchwork. Applique is often used to decorate material. It's a very successful way of creating really individual designs, and these are samples done using the traditional method, so pinning fabric to a background before then tacking it by hand, just using running stitch, and then after that's done, stitching on the sewing machine with a zigzag satin stitch, which you can also do using different colours to add to your design if that's what you want to do. But applique can be made easier by using Bondaweb. This fabric here has been created by using Bondaweb, and it's only been made with scraps of fabric, So a good way of using up all your bits and pieces, all your fabrics that are left lying around, don't discard them. They could be useful for embellishment. You can create novelty patterns like these little boats in applique. These were done using Bondaweb, and then they were machine stitched down to secure them afterwards. And we have a very zany design over here, influenced by Matisse, the artist Matisse. And this has been done using Bondaweb and sheer materials as well, layered, so you can create an effect where you can see through some materials to the ones underneath. And it's been hand stitched, and you can see it's not quite finished yet. There's another way of doing applique, and that's reverse applique. So this is just a sample, a little image of reverse applique here. Again, another novelty design done by layering fabric, stitching the design and then cutting away the layers to create a pattern. Now to give you some ideas for what you can use all these techniques for. It's quite nice to see some applications of these skills. So first of all, a bodice that could be used as a design for a party dress. This was just a really boring basic calico fabric, and it's been styled into a bodice shape, and if we go close up you can see it is the design of the pinstripes in zigzag and then beaded afterwards. So very, very simple, but very, very effective and very classic as a design. If we move along, we've got a little bag here using the technique of the cutting and fraying and stitching of the denim, and using the right side and the wrong side of the denim as well, and also using shades of blue in the stitching rather than just the same shade of blue all the time. We have a cushion here. The cushion has been created, it's been made out of an old pair of jeans that have been cut up and stitched together. Part of one of the parts of the jeans has been silkscreen printed, and you can see generally the texture has been created with applique and free machine embroidery as well. And there's a feature made of the fact that the indigo has washed away in some places in the laundering of the jeans when they were in use, and then not washed away where the seams are. We also have a little bag here which has been decorated with free machine embroidery, and again this has been made from recycled materials, so there's a join between a dark shade of indigo and a lighter shade of indigo, because it was again jeans that made this bag, and different coloured threads have been used in the embroidery to create an interesting surface texture and effect and design. And then finally, if we come down here, we have another bag, a kind of pleated flouncy bag, and this has been decorated by being customised, and all the pieces that have customised this bag have been made with textiles. There's a bit of crochet, there's free machine embroidery, there's a corsage made from old woolen jumpers, and there's a felted flower as well that's been beaded, as well as an appliqued motif around the back there, and they've all been pinned on. Yes, customising as well. So many things you can do.